Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Just Make It Pretty podcast. Today, we are talking about the most overlooked part of builder marketing and why it's costing you trust with your buyers and you don't even realize it. So, one of the things that I've noticed is builders, we really do. We invest a lot of money into marketing, especially on our website and in ads and things like that. But we often overlook the photography that's actually used in those pieces. And today I'm bringing in someone who's an expert in builder marketing and builder photography and everything just around how our visual content, especially photography, is shaping our buyer's perception. So if you are interested in that, please stick around and let's get right into it. Welcome to the Just Make It Pretty podcast, the marketing and mindset show for home builders and beyond. I'm your host, Sarah Haynes, and around here we go beyond pretty pictures and we get honest about what's working, what's not, and what it really takes to build better brands, better experiences, and better teams. You'll find creative ideas, practical strategies, and conversations that actually matter. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get started. I am so excited to introduce our guest today. This is somebody I've been actually following for quite a while. So it's a cool moment for me to get to introduce you guys to Chad Davies. Of course, he is the CEO and founders over at Davies Imaging Group. And Chad, thank you so much for jumping on today. I'm just like giddy excited.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm also excited. You have a great roster of people that have come on the show, so I'm excited to be one of them.
Thank you. I have been really lucky, and everyone in the building industry is pretty nice. So that's been a big plus too.
Yeah, it helps. It helps because everyone's kind of like they talk the same language. And then once you talk to them in person, I feel like everyone's maybe not intimidating. You have this image in your mind of they're going to be super polished and put together, and then they crack a funny joke. And I don't know, everyone's the same way. I love this industry.
Yes, no, it's been so cool. And I'm really grateful for the podcast to get to make connections like this. Now, not that everyone out there already doesn't know you, but why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us how Davies Imaging Group came to be and just your backstory.
Sure, I could talk about it for way too long. I'll try to do the short version. I've only been a photographer in my adult life. So since I was 17, I've been shooting real estate. And that's really all I've truly done. So I'm 34 now. I've been doing it for 17 years. All I've done is take pictures of houses. It's a ridiculous career. And about 10 years ago, we fell into home building. We were working with a home staging company in Sacramento, Northern California. And they started doing stuff for, I think, Lennar. And we started shooting some Lennar houses. And we're like, who are these companies building whole neighborhoods? This is cool. And instead of shooting for agents and brokers, we decided we want to shoot for home builders. And 10 years later, here we are. Davies Imaging Group is now 10 years old, and we're shooting in 28 markets across the country. So we have photographers from coast to coast. A big part of our business has been model home photography. We shoot for a lot of luxury builders, a lot of move up builders, people that are definitely not building at the entry level price point. We have a premium service. We have incredible photos, incredible video. We do really beautiful work. But there's this huge chunk of the market nationwide that we haven't been able to serve because our services are just really expensive. And we realize that everyone actually in home building has the same need, which is virtual staging. Their specs aren't always on the level of their model homes. And I think we've landed on something that's incredible, breathtaking, very exciting. And it leans on our model home expertise. And I think it helps every builder level up their brand presentation in a way they couldn't do before. We're doing a lot, but hopefully that gives you a lot to work with.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's been really fun getting to know you a little bit as we've been planning this episode and checking out your work. Because, like I said, I've seen your work on LinkedIn for years and beautiful photography, but the whole virtual staging side was new to me. So I was really excited to learn about it. And for all of you guys listening, Chad has done something that just no one has ever done for me before. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to tell you early because you're going to need to go there and check it out while you're listening to this episode. So go to daviesimaging.com. That's your main website /Sarah Pod. That's SARAHPOD. And there's a whole landing page of what we're going to be talking about today and kind of some visual examples because this is obviously a really visual conversation. Head over there. And thank you again, Chad, for putting that together. I think it's really going to make this conversation really come full circle for everybody.
I hope so. Yeah, I think when you're doing new things, it helps to see it. When you're just listening about it, it's okay, that sounds cool, whatever. But as soon as you see it happen in front of you and you can like interact with it, it starts to click. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping one listening can have that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you're just listening too, we do a video podcast over on YouTube as well. There will be some examples in there as well. So
Nice.
no matter where you're listening, you're going to be able to see all the things that we're talking about today. And I want to just dive right in. I would love to hear, since you've been in photography for quite a while and home
Mhm.
building and real estate, what do you think is the biggest misconception that builders have about photography?
Oh, it's a big question.
Starting with a big, hard question right out the
That
gate.
is a big, hard question. So I think builders operate within marketing budgets, clearly. They're big companies, they have goals
Mhm.
to hit. Budgets are really important. And I think as markets get competitive, your marketing budget needs to grow because there's a type of marketing that you can get away with, which is not doing everything possible to increase and enhance your brand presentation online. When the market's frothy and hot and everyone wants to buy a house, you don't even have to take pictures. You can put up one rendering of a house coming soon and it'll be sold next week. That is not the environment we live in today. And when there's fewer buyers out there selecting from more options than ever, you have to win their heart online before they ever decide to show up and talk to someone, let alone buy something. And if you're not putting your best foot forward, you're missing. And for sure, like your budgets a few years ago didn't need to account for that environment. But today, when every broker that's doing well, every resale broker and agent is putting $2,000 into marketing their homes, and you're spending $200 on kind of basic spec photography, and that's it, and hoping someone shows up, or not even that, you're not going to get the sales traction because your home just doesn't look as good as the resale home. We know it's new and beautiful, but unless you're showing up correctly, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think like photography is just it's one of those things that's like easy to forget. And it's like I can't tell you how many like builders I've worked with where I'm like, I'm gonna do a website for them or something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, we've got these 4 photos and then you can pull from iStock or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God,
Their
that's not
construction
enough.
manager takes like an iPhone picture tilted way up right at the front of the house,
Yes.
and like they're trying to sell a $700,000 home. I'm like, what are you doing? I can't
Yes.
believe it. Nobody's gonna shell out cash for that. The home's gorgeous, but it's hard to see through the bad photos.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like when people discover your homes on like a listing platform like Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that, that's top of funnel. That first impression is like guides the whole experience. And unless they're only deciding on price, which no one likes, unless they're only deciding on price,
Yeah.
you need that click to mean something. I think photography is really important. I'm really biased, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you haven't thought differently about photography over the last few years, I think it's time to do that. And there's ways to just upgrade your existing stuff. You don't need to re-photograph everything. Sometimes it's an easy switch. So there's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we're so lucky to be living in 2026 where we do have all of these options because it was a different story 10 years ago. We would have to reshoot everything, but now I feel like we have a lot more options and also like we understand our buyers I think better now and that first impression is so important because not going to be able to get that back. You're not going to be able to get that moment back where they see your first photo and they're like, oh, I don't know if these people really care about their homes, or I don't know, that looks like I could have taken that photo versus a beautiful emotional photo that like really pulls them in that they're like, oh my gosh, no, I love this. This is what I want.
And think about the buyers today. Like the buyers that are in the market can afford to buy. They're smart people. So they have long memories. Like that first impression matters. And unless you come back with a huge price reduction or a crazy incentive, like they're not going to look past what you showed them the first time. So do it.
True. Now, the other thing that I think is a missed opportunity is making our photography look cohesive and like it's a part of a brand. I do a lot of branding and I see a lot of brand guides for builders, and it's pretty rare that like the photography and the image style is in the brand guide. And so I wondered if you could talk about that a little bit. Have you noticed that same thing? And how should our images be representing the actual brand?
It's interesting. I work with some corporate marketing divisions and a few builders, and I've looked at their brand photography guidelines, which do exist. Like for the top publics out there, the top 20 public builders, like they have brand photography guidelines. And some of them are really well written. Some of them were clearly written by a designer, not a photographer, but all of them are well intended. And
Mhm.
typically what they're looking for are very specific angles. And sometimes they're talking about lighting, sometimes they're talking about how the furniture should be positioned. But really, like they're thinking in continuity in terms of, hey, we want our kitchens presented this way. Hey, we have
Mhm.
vaulted ceilings. When you see a vaulted ceiling, we want to see that. And they're pretty structured on that side. As soon as you dip below like the top 20 or 30 home builders in terms of volume, that stuff gets thrown out the window. It's not something they're concentrated on yet. And I would say there's an opportunity there for sure, but the brand guidelines for photography are a solve to a bigger problem, which is if you're operating in multiple markets, you're probably using multiple photographers. And what
Mhm.
you're really trying to do is get all those photographers to do the same thing.
Yes.
And that's why a company was made, was because you can't. Every
Yeah.
photographer thinks they're an artist or they're a creative person at their core, and they're going to
Mhm.
make creative decisions along the way. And the guy in Nashville is not going to shoot the same way as the guy in Austin or the guy in Charlotte or the gal in Miami. Like they're all going to do their own thing.
Mhm.
And you handing over a 30-page PDF is not going to change their behavior. So that's something I've learned firsthand as we've grown the company and trained photographers across the country is you need hands-on instruction with someone that is ready to receive it, that has 10 plus years of experience, which our photographers do. And you need someone really good that knows what they're doing to reprogram that photographer and how they approach spaces. And that's a very high level conversation. And it requires a lot of hands-on instruction to get those photos looking consistent across communities, across homes, across styles of architecture. It takes a lot of effort. And that's something that I don't think is fully appreciated, but a brand photography guide is a great start. It won't necessarily fix consistency in photography,
Yeah.
but it is a good effort.
It's interesting because it's not something that's really taught to a lot of marketers, like how
No.
to even write those guides. So we're all out here doing the best because we know that brand consistency is really important. But how to do that takes a special eye and takes some experience. And it is one of those things too. Everyone's got their cousin's best friend that's a photographer, and she's just gonna run
Always.
out there. And yeah, I feel that with designers too. Every person with a computer is a graphic designer. And so I'm sure that you get that in photography too.
Yeah. I mean, now with AI, everyone's a software developer, right? So every, I think as technology becomes more easily accessible, you get more people entering the fold. And
Mhm.
that's when experience matters more than ever. So if you're looking to level up your photography, go to people that know they're talking about. If you're looking to level up your brand presentation and get that thing consistent and dialed, of course, go to someone like you because like you don't know what you don't know.
You got to bring in help. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of builders, they forget that in marketing, like it takes a lot more than one person to do really successful marketing because there's so many different aspects. The same person that's going to be great at photography is not going to be great at running your Google ads or like creating a magazine ad or something like that. It's not going to be the same person.
Yeah.
So you have to bring in and build your team just like you build your tech stack and all of these other things.
Yeah, yeah. Just like a high end. Think about every marketing manager, every director, every VP definitely has a really good sense of design. We'll use like a model home merchandising as an example. They all
Mhm.
know it looks good. They've developed this like palette over 10 or 20 or 30 years of experience. This is how it should look. And this is acceptable. This is not acceptable. And that is ingrained in there. They can give great feedback, but they probably can't design furniture floor plan from scratch and merchandise that model home from top to bottom, even though they have all that experience. They're
Mhm.
the filter that knows what good is, but getting them to do the whole thing, of course, is like that's a big reach. That's just not
Yeah.
what they're programmed for. That's why you lean on really talented interior designers to help you with that. I think the same goes for any other piece of the marketing pie, whether
Mhm.
it's running ads or doing a brand refresh or doing your photography or any social content strategy, there's probably a specialist that can help you get moving, you know?
And obviously, we're vendors, so we're big believers in bringing in vendors for that. But it can make it a lot easier because it's hard to bring in that many people in house to be full time to do each thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of great resources out there. And I think once you understand the importance of all of these pieces, then it makes it much easier to find the right partner for that.
Yeah. And speed matters. You get in the right
Exactly.
direction much faster, which is
Absolutely.
very important to everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We all want it yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another thing. I want to go back to like photography of our homes. I have noticed obviously builders put so much effort into their model homes, and usually model home photography is where all the budget goes. Like we're taking pictures of the models and those look great. Awesome. But we've got a lot of spec homes and other listings and other things that come up that aren't putting in so much effort into. I know you have a solution around that, and I'd love to hear a little bit about what your take is on like making sure that your photography like looks more cohesive across everything.
Let's jump into it. Yeah, I think it's pretty nuanced. I think model homes, the pinnacle of the brand experience for any home builder. That is the tangible, hands-on thing that any buyer can do with the home builder that makes them feel special or a certain way, right? Down to the smell of that thing. It all matters. The model home experience is very important. And that's why the biggest builders spend so much money on it because they know great model homes can really drive volume. It's a great investment. For some reason, the 200 homes that are built in that neighborhood do not get the
Yeah,
same love, care, attention, support. And
exactly.
the photography is almost treated as like an inconvenience. So I built the
Mhm.
house, you saw the model, just come buy it. And that's like that's almost like the thought process is the model's great. This house, just come walk by. You saw the
Yeah.
model and walk by when you're ready. But like people don't see your model home photography first online, right?
Hmm.
When they're looking for houses, they see the spec first. That's the point of discovery is your spec home. The model home is almost like mid-funnel. It's like before they show up and find your sales address, they want to see what they're going to show up to, and that kind of sets the stage for that. But they have to decide to come visit you first, and they do that based on an incredible spec home photography experience because that's where they see you, like on the platform. They're scrolling through those photos, and someone on their couch is going to go through 20 houses before they decide to go visit one.
Yeah.
So, like, why not try to make a compelling argument there that you're worth coming to see in person? Like that to me feels like just the biggest oversight in the industry right now is there's cheap spec photography, so I'm going to get that because it minimizes my marketing spend and people will applaud me for that in the short term. But what's the carry cost on those homes sitting around for 90 days? It's significant. It's very high. It's not worth the photography savings. It's much better to invest a little bit in that presentation so people actually feel like they want to come visit you. It's hard to make empty houses look beautiful, look
Yeah.
compelling. It's this empty box paradox where, yeah, I have this beautiful home ready for sale, but like without furniture in it, it's really hard for people to imagine themselves inside of it.
Yeah. And you don't want to have to stage every single home. That's
No,
not
it's so
great.
expensive. And like some builders are smart and they get 9 sets of furniture or 12 sets of furniture and they
Mhm.
rotate them through their oldest specs, and that makes some sense. You still have the moving crew moving stuff around, but it does help a little bit because when people do show up, they can envision themselves in the space, and that's important.
Yeah.
Um, I heard a
The
stat.
other thing I feel like too, I've seen a lot of builders do, they'll do their listings and they'll put the model photos up first. So you're
Mhm.
like, oh, this is a beautiful home. And then at the bottom, it's, oh, but this is what the actual home is. And it doesn't have
Yeah.
all those upgrades and it's empty and it's got all these things. And you're like, so let down. You're like, oh, okay, just kidding. That wasn't what it
Or
was.
worse, you don't even see those photos. You show up and you're like, not what I
Ah,
wanted.
bait and
Um,
switch.
it is funny though. I saw this stat. It's not even funny. It's, I think, helpful just as a point of information. Looking at like Matterport tours, which everyone's familiar with, I guess the bounce rate on unstaged Matterport tours is 8 times higher. So eight times more people will bounce off an empty Matterport than a staged one. So like the staged stuff just keeps people hooked. Like people want to keep exploring when there's furniture. It keeps their minds active. Navigating around empty rooms just isn't fun for anyone. So I think there is some psychology involved here where if you give someone something to look at, they'll stay longer, which I think is helpful for anyone in marketing. So obviously, virtual staging kind of enters the conversation. It's been around for a long time. Everyone's done it. Everyone's probably had a positive experience, but mostly negative experiences with virtual staging, especially in home building.
Yeah.
And I think that's because, like I mentioned earlier, like the people that run the marketing for builders are experts in design and sales and psychology. They get their buyers. And if the virtual staging doesn't align with the buyer expectations they know they have to meet, they just reject it. They send it back. They say, hey, this isn't good. And they go through endless revision cycles or They do 4 rounds of revisions to try to cobble this virtual staging together into something that looks presentable. And that's a problem. That's time spent. The house doesn't have pictures on market for all that time. You're wasting your time doing hours of revisions on something that just shouldn't require that much effort. And as we started exploring virtual staging about 18 months ago, we ran into the same issue. And the fundamental problem here, some inside baseball, is that all of the furniture libraries available online to download and to go insert into these houses are all universally the same. Everyone has access in virtual staging to the same sets of furniture, and they all look generic. They're not super on trend. It's definitely not like the hot stuff that you see in magazines. It's like the stuff from 10 years ago. That's a problem because you're selling a house today. And then we're trying to reconfigure furniture to make it look like a model home, and it's never going to look that good. So that was a challenge that we wanted to solve. And I think we did it. And we bypassed all of the revisions and all of the searching for the perfect set of furniture. And we just looked to the model homes as inspiration because builders invest in model homes as they should. And great model homes move the needle. We know that. So, like, why not just copy and paste that furniture and put it inside of your specs? Could you do that? And we figured it out. We figured out you could just extract furniture, create 3D models, and put it in to specs. And that's what we're doing. And we're doing it with a lot of success. And we've only been offering this for a few weeks now. And like builders love it. Love it. Like the first time they received their order, like one builder in Texas, they're known for having a very over the top brand and their furniture merchandising is glitzy. It's very Texas, it's very Dallas. And virtual staging does not ever match their brand. And ever since they were introduced to this, they've been submitting like 4 or 5 orders a day, getting all their specs like re-merchandised virtually because it looks like their model homes. It's this like wonderful discovery for them that they can actually elevate their spec homes to make it look like the model homes that they're so proud of. So from a branding perspective, I don't think anything like this has been available for specs, which is why we're so excited because now builders can like lean on their interior design advantage and lean on their expertise in this industry and extend their ROI. Like they can capitalize on all that investment in their model home and now distribute it to all their specs. It just, I'm very excited about it. Clearly, I'm fired up. But like to me, it's like the Matterport moment where people can finally like have this new experience that actually feels different because now builders can have a unique brand identity in their spec homes. That wasn't an option just a couple months ago. So I'm gonna stop ranting.
No, you're good. It is really exciting. It's something I had not heard of before when we first started talking because the good thing, like I said earlier, we live in 2026. We have a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources. Bad thing is we have all of these resources that sometimes suck.
Yeah.
And like I had a builder a couple months ago that was trying to do virtual staging. They have very low budget. They're just like, okay, we just need to get something to make these pictures look better. And they had their marketing assistant working in Chat GPT all day and ended
Hours.
up with 4 photos. Like she worked so hard and so long.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my gosh, like obviously I know that there's better ways than doing it in Chat GPT, Gemini or whatever she was using, but it's something that everyone's all trying to do and figure out right now. And unfortunately, even though those photos took all day, like they all did not even look like it was part of the same home. Like some person would not have decorated that way in all these different rooms. It just did not go.
no.
So it worked for that moment and whatever, but really feel like having an opportunity to actually keep your style is really interesting and something that I don't think a lot of companies have really jumped on yet.
Reuse your style. It's not even keeping it like you don't pay for it once and then it lives in one home. Now it lives in all the homes if you wanted to. And that has never been possible. So like now you can invest in model home merchandising and take advantage of it in perpetuity, not just for that one model home.
And you can use that then too across like different divisions as well if you wanted to, like everywhere.
Unmodeled plans. So this is a huge problem for builders where they have like their top selling model that they want to merchandise and then they have the 4 other floor plans that don't get the love. That's fine. Like we don't need the model home plans to match to move that furniture over. Like now you can virtually stage those unmodeled plans. You just have vacant pictures of them ready to go. And then you can dump in the furniture and it almost looks as good as your model.
Yeah. Now when you do this, what would be the first step? Would builders send you the empty photos of the homes, or would you have a photographer go out and take those first? What does the process look like?
So it's a great question, and it's I don't want to say deceptively easy. It's so easy that it doesn't sound true. You log into our portal. There's a module on the left called Model Match. You click that, you drag in your model home pictures, you create a gallery. There's step one. Step two, you create a virtual staging order. You drag in your vacant pictures, your empty pictures. And then there's like a staging direction step where you just select your model match gallery that you just uploaded, and then you submit it. And then you're done. Like it's that easy. You upload your model home pictures and then you just reference those pictures on your staging order, and that's all you have to do. It's like that easy. So if you have a Matterport of a model home, you can export the stills from your Matterport and use those if you don't have great photography. Like you can take iPhone pictures. I recommend not doing this, but like any picture
Yeah.
of your model home is a reference. That's great. And then as long as you have pictures of your specs to upload, you can upload those existing pictures. We don't have to take pictures for you. All this is existing stuff you already have. So if you're sitting on inventory that's been there for 2 months too long and it's time to get some momentum, give us those spec photos, upload your model home gallery, and then we'll just mash the two together and give you something beautiful. Like it's truly that easy.
That's awesome. So as you've been testing this out with different builders and stuff, you shared a little bit of feedback already, but what has the feedback been from builders like that are using this?
Yeah, we have the one builder in Dallas who like saw her first order, submitted four the next day, three the next day, four the next day. Like she's hooked. So
She's
she's
like
on.
on
She
it.
loves it. She's so happy with it. No feedback, like it's perfect. The other builder we worked with, we had to rephotograph their homes because they didn't have great photography, and then we did virtual staging on top of the photography. We did that for almost 20 homes. I followed up with them a few weeks after, and I'm like, "How are sales doing?" He's like, "It's been the busiest 2 weeks we've had in the last year."
Incredible.
Which is crazy because this was during the Iran stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like they're having positive sales numbers during all of this like crazy stuff happening in the world, and people are more excited than ever to come visit their homes and buy stuff. So like I think presentation really does matter. And if you need someone to like make a decision, compel them through pictures. We have just onboarded a big national builder I think we're in 20 markets with them. And over the last week, we've had 5 of their divisions start submitting projects with us, which is really exciting because like corporate signed off on it, then all the divisions have to go do it. And like slowly the word's getting out, like, "Oh, this is really good." And like every day we're getting a new division submitting stuff because I think they're all starting to pass notes along. Some of the photography hasn't been great, and the photos look so much better with staging in them. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I would say there has been very positive traction. We've had some clients that used our old virtual staging in the past and then just decided to use virtual staging with like their photography vendor because there's no differentiation. And we've had them try the new stuff because now they can match their models and that's really important to them. So across the gamut, like the response has been very positive. We've had one negative piece of feedback was they didn't have a reference image of a backyard with furniture in it that they liked. So I don't like the furniture for my model home photo. What should I do? And I'm like, just upload a picture of a backyard you do, and we'll use that. And then we did that, and everyone is happy. So that's what we found is if they don't love their model home pictures, that seems to be the only thing holding them back at this point, which is really cool. But in terms of fidelity, then turnaround, and the service in general, everyone is over the moon about it because it just gives them a leg up that they didn't have before.
Congratulations on all that success. That's really exciting. I feel like so many builders they need photography so bad. And like when you think about it, it's not only is that going to go on your website and on your listings, but you can use that stuff on social media. You can use that in other marketing, and it's making an investment into photography. I feel is one of the things that just continues giving for you, and repurposing that is just, if you have a good marketing team, they're going to be able to take that and just run with it.
And remember, the agents that are selling your communities on your behalf, that are like bringing in buyers, like they're going to be more excited to show something that looks pretty, looks good on them. You know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
there's so many levers here that get pulled once you upgrade your presentation on your listings. I'm hoping we get people to turn that corner and maybe reconsider virtual staging because I think a lot of people have moved it to the side because it isn't very good. On the flip
Mm.
side, on the AI side, I've heard other stories of like people getting 12-cent virtual staging from the platforms because they have so many photos. And the first thing I think about is it's just going to look like every other house, which
Yeah.
defeats the purpose. If your goal is to build a brand that is memorable and distinctive and makes someone feel a certain way, you don't want the cheap thing that's instant because it's not going to reflect you.
Yes.
And
Oh
that's
my
your whole
gosh.
job. That's your whole job. Like, how is our builder different? We can't use the same furniture because you just blend in. So there is something really cool about standing out here that we couldn't do before. So that part's pretty neat too.
Oh my gosh. I could talk all day about differentiation between home builders because it's a real problem. And I feel like if you find a way to differentiate yourself from every other builder down the street and every builder that your buyers are seeing on Zillow, like that's huge. And it can be difficult because a lot of the things that we're all using the same countertops and we're all using the same flooring. And how can you build something that looks unique? I think is every marketer is like thinking about that.
And then remember, you're not competing against other builders, you're competing against resale. And you're
That's true.
using the same tools as resale is using. You're
Yeah.
looking the same. What's the point?
Yeah.
Don't use the same tools the realtors are using because like you're gonna look like a resale listing. That's not your job. Like let's look better than that. I don't know. There's a million ways we could spin this, but at the end of the day, I think it's about identifying that your brand has some uniqueness about it and identifying new ways to copy and paste that so you can replicate and make everything have that same feeling, which is really important.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, guys, go look at that landing page. The link is down in the description box, and you can see some examples of everything that we just talked about. But for you, Chad, before we end this episode, I like to ask some like big random questions. So, if you could tell builders in this industry just one thing to stop doing on their social media, what would it be?
Having talked to some social media experts, the walkthrough videos of like the empty house don't do very well. So maybe don't do that on social. Social loves personalities. So put a personality on your social, whether it's a salesperson or your construction manager or someone, and make that part of your social because the pretty product photos are awesome. We love those, but social's for people. So make sure you're incorporating a lot of people and personalities and humanity into your social because that's going to move the needle for you. Maybe that's
Absolutely.
unexpected for you, but that's my recommendation on social.
I love that. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to tell, if you could make the entire industry do one thing differently and they would just take your advice and just everyone runs with it, what would it be?
Use model match virtual staging on all of your spec homes tomorrow. That would be the only thing I'd recommend to all of them because they would all do the same thing and all get a different result,
There
which
you go.
is pretty remarkable to say out loud. But no, there's nothing else out there that allows you to do that. Yeah, I'm biased.
I'm sure that everyone is going to want to be reaching out to you though. Before I let them go, Chad, where should they go to find you if they want to talk to you?
LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn, too active on LinkedIn. It's where I see all my friends. So if you want to be one of my friends, add me on LinkedIn. I'll comment on your stuff and do everything there. And then if you want access to the landing page, add me on LinkedIn. I'll send it to you. Mention Sarah's podcast. And then on that landing page, there's an offer. So if you want to try this out for yourself, it's 5 free images for anyone that signs up through the landing page. We'll get you set up with an account, give you free credits, and you can try this for yourself with no risk. So I think that'll help you make a decision on whether or not this is helpful for you in the future. But if you just want to chat, hit me up on LinkedIn. We'll talk shop there.
That's awesome. It's so funny. My friends like roast me because I will scroll LinkedIn like I scroll Instagram just
Yeah,
to
me
look at
too.
that's where my friends are. Like, I don't know what
Me
to tell
too.
you.
Me too. I love LinkedIn. I don't know. All my friends are in the industry though. It's so funny. So that's why.
Yes, come be our besties over on LinkedIn, guys. All right. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for listening to this episode. Go do all the internet things, like this episode, like the podcast, comment below, and please go find Chad and I on LinkedIn. And we will see you on our next episode. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.